Hello and welcome to a Carleton StarCraft 2 playoff match. This is the first playoff match Carleton's played, at least since I've heard of the team. We finally made the playoffs this year. This is the round of 128. This is Carleton versus Ryerson. In the bottom right, representing Carleton University, we have our coordinator, TQ Incarnate. He is pretty powerful, so hopefully he does us well. Good. Yeah. Awesome introduction. Okay, here we go. In the top right, we have Sustainable. He is also playing for Carleton as the Teal Protoss. And representing Ryerson, the opposing team, we have Mergio JY in the top left on Scorched Haven as another Protoss player. And in the bottom left, we have Inquisitor, the coordinator for Ryerson, as the Zerg. So, interesting, right off the bat, you can see that Ryerson decided to go with a Zerg Protoss on this map, whereas Carleton decided to go for a Terran Protoss. This is one of the few maps I think you can actually get away with the Terran Protoss because you don't have a shared ramp. Well, it's debatable. Basically, the reason why a lot of people say you should go Zerg in a competitive 2 versus 2 match is because Zerglings are so mobile that you can use them to harass and to attack with the other person's army, or if their armies are just so mobile, you have so many options. On Scorched Haven, however, with the two ramps, both the Terran and our Protoss player are going to be able to wall in. They're going to be safe from those Protoss, or they're going to be safe from those Zerglings. One of the big things you risk on this map, especially with a Protoss Zerg team, is that Protoss needs to get a couple force fields out. They force field this ramp off. Terran's units are all trapped up here, and then both Protoss and Zerg hit the other Protoss player as hard as they can, and 2-on-1 they can always break him down, and they can just keep Terran mutated in the space and force field. So that's something that Incarnate and Sustainable are going to have to watch out for, and it can be vice versa. Like, they can just pin Sustainable in place and then harass Incarnate, but that tends to not work as well because you can sometimes scrub the border. But we'll see if that comes into play in this game. It doesn't look like anyone's going for some crazy all-in right off the bat. There's no 6 pool. It's a 14-14 coming out from Inquisitor, and it looks like fairly standard stuff coming down here. We see the cybernetic scores both going down around the same time for the Protoss players. I don't believe anyone's cut probes at all. It looks like the production's fairly similar. We can see Incarnate is getting his factory out. I can honestly say, having played a couple 2 versus 2s with him this season, that Incarnate loves his Hellion play, especially versus Zerg, and well, it's not that bad versus Protoss either. Actually, it's not bad versus any matchups, especially in 2v2, because it's pretty important. We see a ping going down by Sustainable. There is an evolution chamber. That's an interesting decision for Inquisitor, going that super safe route. He's not going to be dying to any sort of Cloak Banshee, DTs, or anything like that coming out of Carleton. You can see on the vision that I don't believe... You can see on the vision that they have not had a whole lot of scouting intel. They did see that there was a gas going down for both players, but that doesn't tell you a whole heck of a lot. He's finally getting these Zerglings out, and he's going to just poke up and see that there's a Zealot, and that Warpgate is going to get used. So that's it. Vital Tell, before the Sentry comes out, so he's going to get a look at that. He's also going to be able to poke up here and see that there is a reactor on the factory making Hellions 2 at a time. Also, very good to see. I'm not sure if he actually got to see. No, he didn't see that there is a tech lab up on that barracks. And that's important to know. Tech lab on barracks can mean a lot of things. In this case, it means Hellion Marauder. That's somewhat of a fairly standard opening for Terran. It's actually extremely good versus Protoss and Zerg. If you get those Hellions turn Zerglings to Char, and that's a StarCraft pun for you. Hellions turn Zerglings to Char, and Marauders turn Toss to Goose. So that could be a very crippling unit composition for Incarnate, and we see, I believe that's 1, 2, 3 gates going down for Sustainable, so he's not going for a crazy 4-gate or anything like that, but he should have plenty of units out. You can see almost grabbed the Zerglings, but they're going to get, Zerglings almost grabbed the Hellions, sorry, but they are going to get away. Doing a little bit of splash to those Zerglings. Not really a bad trade for either team. Just going to catch the waters. Just went almost finished on these Zerglings. That's an interesting beautiful Hellion throw by Incarnate, really roasting these Zerglings. lost tabs. You see this is losing a lot. But he's traded one health. All of those things. Here comes the Stalker. Here comes the second four Stalkers. Well, two more Stalkers for Ryerson, and they're going to be able to push this Sentry Force back. Good control by Sustainable, not losing the Sentries. Needlessly, and with Rodgers completely able to hold discretion from Virgil, but reinforcing Sentries. Might catch the Sentries out. Taking one force down, go down. All hell is picked off by Stalkers. His ramp is forceful. This is what I was talking about earlier. See, Carleton is not in a good position at all. Robo Bay has gone down for Sustainable, but there's nothing coming out of it. There's the Immortal coming out, not getting Chrono Boosted, even though he has almost 4 energy on that. I think that might be a misstep. You can see Inquisitor is taking his base. This is 8.5 minutes. Not a very good idea. Looks like there's a Warden. I'm sorry I missed that. It's like Incarnate very fast. Low ground zealots into the high ground. Doesn't act. Interesting decision to do by Ryerson to try to do that kind of backdoor, as they had isolated Incarnate into his base. His army was trapped in here, and all it could really do was defend against units they warped in here. If they had actually just pushed Protoss, they may have been able to break it or catch his army that was trapped on the low ground. But that did not happen. And I'm sorry, here is a close Banshee that Incarnate is finding here. It's 9 kills so far. There is no detection. Here's the Observer finally coming out. This is a critical Cloak Banshee that might actually help pull Carleton back into this game. They're definitely down a little bit. There's the Overseer from Inquisitor out as well, but he's going to pull that Banshee back with 9 kills. Looks like looks like everyone's going to sort of balance out now. Roach Warren had obviously gone down, and a couple of Roaches moved out. We can see in the Army tab that there is pretty even workers on all sides. Actually, Inquisitor way down in the drone count. He obviously went a little bit all in off that, and now he's jumping to Lair, getting Hydras out, and not getting Roach Speed. So you can see Incarnate keeping them Banshees alive. Sustainable is getting up his force a little bit. Oftentimes in 2v2s you have the sort of pressure from one team, and it usually ends up crippling someone. In this case it didn't actually cripple Carleton, so we'll be curious to see if they come out being ahead in that. It would have been nice if he could have kept it alive, but Ryerson will get a full scout. They will see that there are a lot of Hellions, a lot of Marauders, a couple Banshees, and that the Immortal is out for Carleton. We can see that Mergio is getting he's going Roach. They're going Roach, Ling, Stalker, which is actually not going to be a great unit composition versus Immortal with Medevac, Marauder, Hellion. This could end pretty badly if an engagement comes up. We have Colossus coming out for Carleton as well, so that is going to help. That is just going to roast with good unit positioning. And you can see Carleton is moving out right now. I suspect that they're ahead in the unit supply. You can see Incarnate's a little bit ahead of Inquisitor, and 66 supply for the Ryerson Terran, and 73 for the Carleton. Don't even need to force field and it looks like the first game is going to go to Carleton. If someone would stop set my status to do not disturb for a reason. That's a little bit of a misforce field there, but at this point I don't think it matters. Incarnate's army is nowhere to be found. Landed that that factory, and is he building Hellions? No, I don't know. Much to handle right now. Incarnate is macro home. Zerg is back down to 1 base. He does have all of his drones alive. That is actually a ton of drones left. That is a ton of drones going down. That's 6 going through. That's 11 kills on that team. See how many hits this one has taken around. But at this point, I think Ryerson is pretty dead. You can see their Protoss players. And their Zerg player is down to 49 versus 74 and Carleton's there, way ahead in the supply count. Hydras are going to go down. Clean up the Protoss. There it is. 1-0.